Abaticola and Ferrari discuss everything. With Matt Abaticola.
Son, your ego is writing checks your body can't cash.
I'm sorry I ruined your New Year's Eve party. She tastes like cigarettes.
And Jason Ferrari.
I'm very important. I have many leather-bound books, and my apartment smells of rich mahogany.
Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
Two complete nincompoops with microphones and access to the World Wide Web. Presented by Mickey Finn's Brewery in Libertyville, Lake County's oldest brew pub. Now, here are your hosts for this shit show, Abaticola and Ferrari.
Hello there, podcast friends, and welcome into episode number 10 of Abaticola Ferrari Discuss Everything. This is episode Bell Beefer. He's Jason Ferrari. I'm Matt Abaticola. You know, you can be a part of the show through Twitter at AFDE Show. You can also connect on Facebook, facebook.com/AFDE Show. And you can email us anytime, afdeshow@gmail.com. We, of course, are presented to you by Mickey Finn's, Lake County's oldest brew pub. They are located at 345 North Milwaukee Avenue in Libertyville. Check them out on Twitter at Mickey Finn's. So, little interesting things have happened the last couple days, and it's another tragedy, another mass shooting in our country, Jay. Hate to start our podcast off talking about this, but it's something that needs to be discussed.
I feel like it's hard to talk about anything else.
Right, you can't get around it. You always think that after a mass shooting, this will be the one that changes take place in our country, and then time passes and another one happens, and it just seems like they're getting worse and worse. I didn't think it could get any worse after the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting, where little kids were shot and killed. You know, the Pulse nightclub last year, you had the amount of people that were killed was unbelievable. And then this story in Vegas with Stephen Paddock shooting from the 32nd floor of Mandalay Bay Hotel, where 59 are now confirmed dead and 527 injured. Absolutely just unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that, you mentioned something at the beginning about how, you'd think that every time it happens, something's going to change. But, what is the definition of insanity? It's like, something happening over and over and over and over, and then, expecting a different result. It's
right.
Like, at this point, I don't really know what can be done short term and how long it's going to take for something to be done long term that's going to be of any kind of an impact.
Well, it's really irritating because you can look at other countries around the world that, something like this happened. I read a great article that Jen sent me earlier today from Australia, about Australia, and I've seen this story before, where they had a mass shooting, and then 12 days later, like all the lawmakers, all the politicians, all the officials, they passed these different laws, and something like that hasn't happened again. And it's just like they just don't care, because there are too many factors involved in political office for individuals and financial reasons and their connections to power that they're more than just what's best for the people. And that's what, a politician is supposed to be there for the people, to represent the people, right, and for the best interest of the people. But they don't. And too many times you've seen, reasons of power and financial reasons that influence the way people are voting on laws, or even the things they even bring up to discuss. And seeing, Sarah Huckabee yesterday, the White House press secretary, and, hearing Trump talk about it, and, about thoughts and prayers for the victims and their families, and warmest condolences, which doesn't make any sense at all. But, and Huckabee was breaking down in the tears, giving her her
conference, whatever.
yeah, her the written
briefing.
portion of her briefing. It's like, come on, I don't buy any of it to be sincere. It doesn't feel real. And then when you start quoting scripture, the Gospel of John and scriptures tell us, it doesn't sound sincere. It doesn't feel sincere.
No.
You know what? Go out and make a difference. Make a difference so this doesn't happen again. This dude had 23 rifles in his room?
Yeah.
23.
Yep.
And he had 19 more at home. Listen, I'm all for. I'm not about taking away all your guns. I mean, I believe there's a place in society for weapons and for guns. I believe there is. I really do. You want to protect your home? That's fine. I'm all for that. You want to use rifles and guns to go hunting and kill animals for trophy or for eating? I'm all for that. But there's no reason why anyone should have the capability of having a weapon that the military has. There's no reason for it.
Well, yeah, and they've, I've seen some. Sorry, I'm like completely. My voice is cashed, so I'm a little quiet, like more quiet than normal. But I've read some things over the last couple of days that are from people who are in the military, who are in the CIA, who have had 5, 6, 7 tours overseas, and said they've used these things on a daily basis, and there is absolutely no practical reason for anyone to have, like, any civilian
absolutely not
have this. Which, I mean, I don't think that's, if someone's shocked by hearing that information, I don't really know how to help you or address that. But I think you also mentioned that other political systems in other countries can kind of remedy this super fast. Yeah, you know what though? But a lot of them don't have. We just have a very bloated, long-winded, difficult process with multiple people never going to agree with each other for whatever reasons, and it's all about that and never about anything actually getting done. Right,
and the biggest irritant in the whole argument is the Second Amendment. I have a right to bear arms. There are 13 words that start off the Second Amendment that people conveniently leave out when they have their whole Second Amendment argument. Oh, it's my right to bear arms. Right? It's talking about a well-regulated militia.
Right.
And we don't need a militia right now. When that was written, it was a different time, an entirely different time in this world, in this country, when a militia was needed. That's fine. That was different. There's a threat of an army, a foreign army walking through your backyard. It's a different time. You don't have that argument if you're going to leave out the first half of the Second Amendment, and you can't base your argument on the Second Amendment when you ignore half of it.
Right.
It's not logical. It doesn't make any sense.
Stop
using that argument. And again, I don't want to take away all the guns. If you want to have guns to go to a firing range and shoot for fun, fine. Do it. You want to have one in your house because you're afraid someone's going to break in, you want to protect your family? Fine. Do that. But you don't need an AK-47 to protect your family. Unless, like I tweeted out today, unless a foreign army's military is going to break into your home and attack your family, you don't need assault rifles. A regular old handgun is going to do the job. And yeah, you need to go to target practice to get good if you want to protect your family. Fine. Again, you're a hunter and you do it for sport or for food purposes. Fine. But you don't need assault rifles.
No.
You don't need a silencer if you're a regular person. You need a silencer in case someone breaks in. You don't want to let them know you're there. You need a silencer for a deer.
Right. Yeah, I was just saying if that's to protect your home, I don't know that stealth shooting is exactly the issue that
I think you'd want to make noise while holding your gun so people know that, hey, I know you're there in my home. I mean, you're not gonna put a silencer on. I mean, who are you trying to protect? I mean, you don't want to wake your kids up. Oh, I better put a silencer on, honey. I don't want to wake the kids up when there's burglars here.
The dog.
Right, the dog will start barking, of which the neighbors might hear.
The dog should probably be helping protect. I heard someone say something today. I was actually helping out my buddy who owns a restaurant, Philly Bros. We've talked about before, but
let me stop you right there, real fast.
Okay,
you were helping before. I don't want you to lose your train of thought.
Yeah,
but had a Philly Bro sandwich tonight. You were kind enough to bring some home with some French fries. Hand cut fries. Obviously, you can always tell when you see that. Outstanding, and that Philly sandwich was unbelievable. I mean, the bread is delicious. The meat was unbelievable. That's like nothing I've ever had around this area before.
Right. Well, I don't think it exists. I mean, I've had a couple of, I'm air quoting, Philly sandwiches, but they're more of the Chicago hoagie style. So they're ones with like mayo and peppers and mushroom. It's not real. It's not a real.
Yeah, you know who does a decent Philly sandwich is Jersey Mike's, the sub place. They actually do a decent Philly.
I can't say I've ever had it.
I've when I go there, that's one of the things I get. One of two things. That's one of the things I get. It's pretty good. But this one today was, you could tell it was different.
Yeah.
And it was excellent. So if you ever have a chance, Philly Bros, check them out. Good stuff. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's okay. But we do some pop-up events, and I'm helping out with them. So I'll go and do like a catering event just to, make some cash and meet some people and stuff. And I overheard some people today. We were over at it's so weird calling it the Willis Tower, but we were at the
Sears Tower.
Over
there by the Jules.
Dago T on the sky deck. And some people were obviously mostly talking about one of two stories, and we're going to get into the second one in a second here. But and someone had mentioned, and this I don't want to kick a hornet's nest, but I really liked this point. Someone said, "Do you think that all the people who keep complaining about protecting their Second Amendment rights were also bitching about someone being able to exercise their First Amendment rights in the NFL last week?" And I just thought, I don't know, I don't know. Like I said, that's a different conversation. We can bring that up at a different time, but it's always things like that make me think, okay, why is one not okay? And why, it's just, I think the system needs some severe changes, especially just based on what you brought up. We're not living in that kind of time anymore.
Right. I don't see why it's so difficult to make that transition, to think that it's an outdated amendment as far as the right to bear arms and what the purpose was it for at that time. It's not equivalent at this time today. And the other thing the last thing that really irritates me about this conversation is, people saying, on social media, I agree with your thoughts there, Matt, on it. We need to have talk about gun control and different weapons that are available to regular citizens, but now is not the time. Now is the time to mourn. Now is the damn time to discuss it. Now is the time to do it.
Both?
Why can't you do both? Why can't you? I mean, I'm intelligent enough. You're intelligent enough as people out there listening to this podcast to do more than one thing at a time. We can have the conversation while we mourn. We can be respectful of the families and the loved ones that lost people in this tragedy while discussing the fact how they lost their lives.
Right.
We can do that. We can do it. This is the best time to do it.
It's a classic example of if this then that.
Right.
It's when something like this happens, you learn from it and adapt, as opposed to I just feel like we're on a bad loop. It's like a bad version of Groundhog Day where we get a little complacent, and then all of a sudden, bam, another one happens, and it's like we're starting all over again.
Right, and we'll see. Well, hopefully we'll find out what this guy's motives were and what the purpose for him getting into a hotel room and shooting all these people and 22,000 people to gather together to listen to country music. Right. I mean, at a concert where you have families, children on top of parents' shoulders listening to, country music stars, and you got this guy shooting. I'm curious to know if we'll ever know what his motive is. But, maybe there's some sick-ass individual out there right now that's going, I can do more than he did. He killed 59. What is an idiot out there going, I want to kill 100. I want to be the first. This needs to end.
I know.
It needs to end. And we need to stop with the whole crap about, look at Chicago and the strict gun laws. There are more issues in Chicago and the gang violence than just having guns on the streets. It's a whole different topic, a whole conversation. And to use that as an excuse of why we shouldn't talk about gun control laws in America is bullshit.
Well, it's a sidestep. It's all
it is. It's total bullshit.
It's a way to throw...
Well, look at Chicago. That doesn't work in Chicago. Okay. Well,
right. And you remember before that, it used to be when D.C. was the worst place for crime and things along those lines. It's a way to... It's smoke and mirrors. It's a way to throw shade on a different topic to avoid what
that's what Huckabee was saying yesterday in her in between her fake tears. It was now's not the time. It's a time to mourn. And the Gospel of John tells us, great. I'm sure that's the first time you've ever seen it. And then it was like the whole in gun laws, just take a look at Chicago. Okay, yeah, let's take a look at Chicago, because that's really there are different layers of reasons why there's issues. And you know what? Let's address the real issues and stop using Chicago as an excuse to not address gun laws and gun control in America. It's ridiculous. Other big story that took place, and this was an odd story because there was reports that Tom Petty had died, and then there was reports that Tom Petty hadn't died, and then it was official that Tom Petty had died. So Tom Petty dead at the age of 66.
66, yeah. I know. I think that makes it so much worse. That's, it's just like social media and everything where what CBS News got wind of like a police report that he went into cardiac arrest and announced that he was dead, and then but the sheriff's department hadn't even like said that he's dead. Like
Right.
it's just either way, it's horrible, and he's one of my favorite artists, and you know it's just piled on, you know, to an already just bad day.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not, you know, trying to be an idiot or a jerk or an asshole or insensitive to it. It just Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers was not like my thing. It was not a thing for me. I certainly know who Tom Petty was, know several of the songs, and you know, a couple would come on the radio. I'd leave them on, and you know, you listen to them, you sing along with them. But it didn't have any kind of a emotional impact on me, and that's fine, because you know some celebrities die and you feel emotional connection. Some do,
Yeah.
and you don't. So
Right. I just
but I know a lot. I mean Tom Petty's one of the all time greats in American music history.
Hall of
So
Famer.
yeah, the impact was, you know, you could see it through social media and hear it through talking to people who admired his work and were big fans of his work. So yeah, I know it's a difficult time for people who are Tom Petty fans, on top of already the emotional, you know, black hole that we all fell in because of Vegas.
yeah, I you know, he's someone that I've seen double-digit times.
Oh really?
Definitely.
Oh, I didn't know that. Seriously?
At Alpine, probably 6 times, and then at whatever the World Music Theater has become over the last 20 years.
I think we named it the Preparation 8 Studio
yeah,
or
something like-
Stadium,
yeah,
something like that.
like
So,
the
I didn't know you'd seen him double
Yeah,
digits. Okay.
And I mean, but so you know, like a Black Crowes is a favorite band of mine. Obviously, Foo Fighters and stuff. But
Right.
so, Crowes and Petty have toured together. Foo Fighters and Petty have toured together. Dave Grohl played drums for Petty before the Foo Fighters became
Oh,
a
really?
thing. Like he has.
Oh, dude played with everybody.
Well, yeah, but I mean, this was right after Kurt Cobain had killed himself, and Petty they had fired their drummer.
Okay.
And asked Dave Grohl if he would come and play for them on Saturday Night Live, and he did. And then Petty offered him the gig, and it was at the same time that Grohl was deciding if he wanted to do the Foo Fighters or not.
Huh.
I mean, I've watched documentaries on Foo Fighters and like multiple on Petty. There's one on Netflix that's like 3 hours long. It's amazing.
Okay.
Because then you find out kind of who this dude was, like aside from the music, and what he's done like for the music business in terms of record companies completely screwing you over and just stealing your royalties, and you don't even own your own music and all that stuff. He fought him, and basically like he was just such a thorn in the side multiple times, and he won every battle. And
Really?
I respect the hell out of that. And he was just a good dude. Like people loved playing with him. Obviously, there's going to be a you know, an outcrying of people, but I mean, like for me personally, not just Tom Petty, but music.
Right.
It's like that's we may do movie quotes and joke around and all of that stuff, but I mean, like music is really like my life soundtrack. And so whenever I hear songs, it makes me think of like certain times.
Sure.
And we're old enough. I mean, like Petty was 66. You know, like he's like my parents' age, or people in our age group's parents' age. But I mean, the guy's been playing forever, but he's been relevant from then until he was relevant now. Like
Right.
they just, their album just won, like it was like a top
Well,
performing
he's been
album.
doing music at 40
40
plus 45 years. Yeah.
So, you know, it's just every time I hear a Petty song, like I can think of different things I was doing, or definitely think of the shows. So, you know, it's one of those things where I know people are like, yeah, it's a celebrity, boo-hoo. It's like, no, I'm not saying, I don't feel like I lost like a family member.
No, but there are, like I said, there are certain celebrity deaths that impact you,
You know,
in
like-
greater measures than others,
like,
and that's fine.
Like Robin Williams and stuff like that,
Right.
where it's just like, man, you know, like that, you feel like all of a sudden there's like a black hole. Like,
Right.
But I mean, I appreciate the music, and I'm thankful that at least with artists, like everything that they contributed from a musical or artistic standpoint, we can can have forever.
I don't ever, and I could be completely wrong, because I forget stuff all the time now, but I don't remember any negative stories about Tom Petty coming out, ever being arrested, or any kind of issues outside of music that were negative or bad, or maybe there have been, but I don't recall ever hearing any of them. The only when I hear Tom Petty's name, I immediately go back to an appearance I did for one of the beer companies for the station. We were at the Lodge on the Super Bowl Sunday. I remember I was offered that gig. Hey, we got like $500. You have to do like a halftime trivia during the Super Bowl at the Lodge. While I was living in 4 Lakes, I'm like,
I'll just walk over.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. I'll do that one. And Tom Petty was the halftime show.
Yeah.
And when the beer company that was sponsoring the party at the lodge, they paid money to be there, and they paid me to be there. So at halftime, they killed the sound in the back room where the giant stage was.
Insane, yeah.
But they still had sound up in the front half of the restaurant of the bar. And the back half was we were giving away prizes. I think we were even giving away qualifying people for a trip to Mexico. So there was some good stuff going on.
I probably still would have gone and watched the halftime
right,
show.
and it wasn't just like we're giving away ill-fitting beer caps or like koozies. So there was like stuff on the line. So I was doing it, and I remember this lady was heckling me the entire time, just heckling, like older woman. And I was like, God, that woman she's abusive and she's persistent. I'm going to go talk to her because I like her. So after we get done, I walked over to her, and she had to be in her 50s. And I'm like, hey, listen, I don't know what your deal is. Maybe I can buy you a beer, but I don't, there was really no reason for you to come at me like that the whole time. She goes, well, I really don't even like football. I'm here out with friends, and all I wanted to do was see Tom Petty. Yep. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I go, it's not my, you could have went to the front half of the bar. It's not my fault that you were so angry. And then she walked away, and I might have said, Tom Petty sucks anyway. And then she's like, did you say something? I was like, no, I didn't say anything. Well, but I didn't, necessarily feel that.
And unfortunately, those were a better days when our halftime shows, because Janet Jackson showed a nipple. We have to now have horrible, shitty halftime shows.
I actually thought, was it Bruno Mars 2 years ago? Or was he last year? I thought he actually put on a good. She's entertaining. And then I heard for 2019, it's either a done deal or close is Justin Timberlake.
Right.
And that dude can do anything,
well, no,
and I'll watch.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But that's 2019. I'm sick. It's like, Taylor Swift and crap. It's like,
oh, yeah, well, or Katy Perry. And have you seen Katy Perry lately?
Yeah, with that
the short blonde hair,
hairdo. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Every time I try and someone says something about her hair, I'm like, oh, she has a head.
That's a thumb.
Just think of boobies.
That's a thumbs down on the look. I think, in my opinion, she's accomplished to make herself look unattractive, which is bizarre.
I guess I'll have to take a closer look at her.
Yeah,
hair.
It's super short, and it's bleach blonde. All right, so those are the topics of the week, and of course there'll be a lot more discussion on Vegas. I was tweeting a lot about it today because I'm just really, really irritated that nothing's going to be done and nothing has been done, and I just feel like nothing will be done about it. I said that because of a misinterpretation of the Second Amendment and a misuse of the Second Amendment, we've just allowed mass shootings to become part of our society in America, and that's pretty pathetic. That's absolutely pathetic. And when you look at the people in charge, when you have the ability to control something like this, to minimize the opportunities for these types of things to happen, and people out there that are just pure stupid will say, well, the bad guys will get guns and bad things are going to happen. Yeah, I'm not saying that politicians need to eliminate evil from the world. That's impossible. But when you can take steps to try to prevent these incidents from happening, and you choose not to, that's criminal in my opinion, and you shouldn't be in office. So a guy asked me today,
generally financial reasons,
right? For financial reasons and for power. And a guy asked me today, well, what are you willing to do about it besides these robust tweets? I'm like, okay, well, I'm willing to. I listed out 8 different things that I liked, and I said any politician that supports these, I'll vote for him. Anybody that doesn't want to vote for these ideas or stand for these, then I'll oppose them as loud as I can. That's what I'll do, because that's all I can do as a citizen. It's my right to vote. And if people don't want to, and if politicians don't want to take steps to try to prevent these incidents from happening, then you know what? They shouldn't be in office. And you're certainly not going to get my vote for it. It's time. It's time to actually have a conversation. But compromise needs to be had on both sides.
And more than it
needs to happen on both sides.
That turns into something.
Right, absolutely. So now it's a big time for us here in Chicago. A lot of stories on the sports ends of things. The Bears have extra time off this week, so they start. They're already in preparation for Monday Night Football. A week from yesterday, actually, it's Tuesday for us here, wherever you are in your week and weekend. The Bears play Monday Night Football next week. They play the Minnesota Vikings, and Mitchell Trubisky is your starting quarterback. Mike Lennon has been benched in favor of the number 3 pick.
Yeah, and I've had conversations about this, with you at length, with just people I know who like football, with total meatballs who, it's just fun to, I don't even argue with them because it's like, do you even listen to what you're saying? But I still do have some reservations just about playing rookies in general. Our team is usually pretty painful in terms of supporting cast. on the offensive side of the ball, especially this year. So it does make me a little nervous. At the very least, we do have some pretty good offensive line play that's been happening. Obviously, we do have a run game, but if teams are smart, which odds are they are going to be, they're going to put 7 in the box. They're going to try and trick the hell out of our young guy, and he's not going to really have many people to throw to. So that all being said, I'm glad he's getting the shot. I think he deserves it. I think Glenn had even said today or yesterday in a press conference that it's like, hey man, I played myself out. We just can't turn the ball over. He took the high road. He even said with everything that's going on in the world right now, he's like the last thing that everybody should, I don't know. I mean, I don't really think it was like some kind of an excuse. He was just saying, hey, there's some other things going on that are more important than my starting job.
Yeah, he seems like the kind of guy that those words, what he expressed, were sincere.
Yeah.
And he seems like a pretty likable guy, and he seems like he gets it. And so the fans have wanted Trubisky, and it's funny. I was listening to some sports talk, but both stations in town, going back and forth a little bit about the Bears quarterback situation.
Really, you were listening to that?
Yeah, I know. Trust me,
happened?
it wasn't long. It was not long at all. I was hoping to catch some Cubs playoff stuff, but I got football instead. And it's weird how like the first few weeks of the season, all the fans wanted Glennon bench and they wanted Trubisky playing. Yet now he gets the start. He's announced as the starter, and it's just like, the Bears need to go out and sign, this wide receiver, that wide receiver, and the Bears need to do this, they need to do that. It's like, all right, well, you were asking for him, you got him, and no, it's not the ideal situation. This is not the ideal situation, especially on Monday Night Football against the Vikings defense.
Okay.
I just think it's a bad situation, but you got what you wanted, so you can't back out of it now.
Right. I think what people aren't thinking of, because everybody just like, well, I don't know. Obviously, we're from Chicago, so we know our fan base more than others and stuff. So I don't know if every other town, all they ever want to do is the
backup quarterback.
No,
that's been a running theme in Chicago. If you're outside of this market and listening to our show, we do appreciate that. But for years and years and years, for as long as I can remember as a Bears fan, and I'm 44. Bears fans have always loved the backup quarterback more than the starter, with the exception of maybe 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. Or depending on,
or maybe I shouldn't
or
say
if the starter plays well, and then if not, then
Right,
sometimes even the third stringer people want to.
Yeah,
play, so.
it's always been the backup, and maybe for the exception of, I should say, maybe 2 seasons and maybe one other quarterback, because everyone seemed to love Jim McMahon.
Yeah. When he was healthy, but
he was healthy,
and then when Fuller was actually a very good backup, and then we actually had 3 Tom Zach. I mean, it was
right.
Well, I look at who they had. They had a great line,
right?
Hall of
But yeah, I think for generally speaking, most people loved Jim McMahon. But outside of that, and outside of like maybe 2 or 3 seasons that a starter had good years, it's always been the backup quarterback, and for some reason, that's just the way it is. And again, I don't know if that's the same, like you said, if it's the same way in other football towns, or if just that's a beauty and an identity of the Bears fans.
Yeah, us.
Yeah, right.
But I do. I am excited to see him play. I just hope that they have a smart game plan. I think they need to. We have 3 tight ends that I really think can catch the ball, and I've yet to see them be used. I know they have to kind of stay in and block, but I don't know. When you don't have wide receivers and you have 3 pass catching tight ends, you need to throw to them. They'll try and get Cohen involved in the passing game, but I feel like that secret's out a bit.
Right.
So I don't think the Vikings are just going to be shocked that this 5'6" guy is going to be passed to, because we don't have a lot of other options. But I got sidetracked. But what I was going to say is, what people weren't thinking is, who do you think Mitch has been through to all in the offseason and all in preseason? These guys who are our starters right now.
Right.
So he has a rapport with them. He has a rhythm with them. Like, so at the very least, he's kind of throwing. He's not like out there throwing to the starters.
Right.
He's throwing to people that he's been throwing to since he's been a Bear.
I don't think the expectations are great as far as a team perspective is concerned. Now, there are certain expectations that I have of him, in the position he was drafted.
Right.
And I don't, there are mistakes I don't want to see. And I don't care that it's his first game and he's a rookie. He was drafted number 3.
Right.
And there are mistakes I don't want to see. Or number 2. Yeah, you're right. He was 3 up to 2. There are mistakes from him that I don't want to see. I don't want to see the stupid interception, where it's just a terribly thrown ball.
Right.
I don't want to see, the indecisive activity in the pocket that leads to a sack. I don't want to see the mistakes on trying to call plays out or not recognizing what defenses might be doing. Now, sure, you can get fooled once in a while, and I get it. But, man, that you're pick number 2, and you're a quarterback, you're supposed to have this, studying down of, I don't care how long you've been playing in the league. If it's your first game or your 100th game, you need to be prepared. And I still expect that of him. As like I said, as a team perspective, I don't expect them to do great things.
Right.
But I certainly want to see him play well on an individual basis and not make dumb mistakes.
Well, and this certainly is a situation where I, want to see the backup play, but because of who he is and because of where he was drafted and because of how significant that is to us in Chicago. When was the last time we had a high round, like a legit first round quarterback? Like, I mean, who?
We
else?
haven't. I've been watching the Bears since '83. We haven't.
McNown? Is that the last high? I mean, he was terrible, but was that the last high draft pick?
Cade, yeah, he was top 10, right?
Yeah, 8,
7 or 8, yeah,
7 or 8. So, yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see that. But I mean,
Rex was a first round.
Oh
pick.
yeah, that's right. He was further down.
He was further down. Yeah,
I remember because we got Mike Haynes.
Haynes was top 10.
Yeah, we were at the it was called the Cadillac Club at Soldier Field back at a draft.
Yeah,
event,
Haynes was top 10, and then Grossman was
24
in the low 20s.
Like something
or
like
higher
20?
20s. Yeah,
20?
2022. But yeah, and he, and obviously he started a Super Bowl, but that was when Lovey had the peak of his defense and defensive players there.
And a good running game. So I mean, hopefully, I know Howard is pretty banged up, but it'd be nice if Cunningham can get a little work because Cohen just can't. The guy can't take this kind of a beating all season long. He just can't. He can't.
It's funny. Tony Romo was doing the game last week, and he was talking about Tariq Cohen, and he said that you're going to see this guy do things you've never seen on the football field before. And I was like, wow, he's got the hyperbole down for a guy early on in his career.
It's like,
because Cohen's,
like he's
a great talent.
Gruden's couch,
right? But I'm like, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure that what he's going to do in this game, I've seen before in 20 plus years of watching the NFL.
You mean a little guy run fast? Yeah.
Unless he gets up and flies,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not gonna. I literally mean flies with his arms.
Unless the human joystick. Oh boy, yeah. So I don't know. I can't stand the Vikings. It'd be nice to have a good showing and to beat them. But honestly, I really I'm hoping that they have a smart game plan for him. I mean, people are saying we need to, Glennon is a statue, blah, blah, blah.
Move out of the pocket.
Yeah, got it. Okay, fine.
The running game
then we need to have plays designed for a moved pocket.
And the Bears have never been able to do that.
He doesn't need to just be trying to escape and elude the whole time because that's what they're going to be planning for.
Right. So that's the Bears and Vikings on Monday Night Football. And then, of course, the Cubs begin their playoff hunt actually later today. So it's Tuesday for us now. You're listening in the weekend here at some point as we release the episode 10, Bell Beefer, on Friday. So today could be Friday for you. It could be Saturday. But the Cubs are beginning their playoff run this weekend and a look to a race to repeat. I've been hearing that. It's been pretty catchy. So by the time we do our next recording for podcast number 11, the Cubs could be out of the playoffs. They take on the Washington Nationals Friday in Washington. Game 2 is a Saturday in Washington, and then Game 3 is in Wrigley on Monday. Hopefully, baseball is smart, and they have the Cubs Nationals play early with the Bears and Vikings playing Monday Night Football. I would hate to have have any kind of competition between Cubs playoff and Bears Monday Night Football.
Didn't that happen? I vaguely remember when I was living in Madison last year. And we were texting, and there was I was telling you what was going on in the Bears game.
Oh, no, I think it was actually. It might have been Bears Vikings Monday Night Football, wasn't it?
I think it was, or they were playing on Monday Night Football though. I remember because you were like, I'm watching the Cubs, and I was just telling you.
Because I was actually. I think that if I have to go back and look at a calendar, but I think that's Olin Kreutz and I did the post game show on The Score after that Bears Vikings game, and I think that was when the Cubs were playing as well.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I think that it sounds like something.
You were at the station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully, baseball is smart about it for Chicago fans, and the Cubs and Nationals are early, but I doubt it. I'm sure it'll be a night game. to take advantage of that TV market, and that'll suck away from the some of the Bears fans. But who knows what happens? But Cubs and Nationals, I like the Cubs' chances of getting past the Nationals. I actually like the Cubs' chances of repeating this year for the World Series. I'm not just saying that because I'm a Cubs fan.
Well, maybe I do have something to contribute just via questions, but
yeah, I mean, they've gotten hot at the right time. They had a really shaky first half of the season where people were even questioning if they were going to be sellers come the trade deadline. They ended up having a great second half. They won the division comfortably. It wasn't, it was very sketchy, and it was a lot of tension. But in the end, in the second half, they played great. I think they were 20 games over 500 in the second half of the season. They played well. You got some offense going. You got guys kicked it in, started playing really well towards the end of the season, and that's exactly what you want to do. And one of the things about last year, the Cubs, leading wire to wire, and the best record in baseball. I think the 103 wins last year, and they go and they win the World Series. That just doesn't happen in baseball. That's not normal in baseball. Since 1990, I think there's been like 6, 7, maybe 8 teams that had the best record in baseball that actually went on to win the World Series. And more times than not, it's a lower seeded team, even a wild card team that has won more World Series than the team with the best record in baseball. It's not it's not unnatural, or it's not abnormal for the team with the best record in baseball to get knocked out in the first round in that divisional round. So I'm confident the Cubs are going to put it together. I'm confident in Joe Maddon's ability. I don't mind the fact that they're playing on the road and don't have home field. They're going to be at Washington. And then they'll most likely, take on LA, with LA having home field advantage in this NLCS. And I'm confident the Cubs can do it. I know they're still putting the playoff roster together. I expect John Lester to be Game 1 starter, Kyle Hendricks to start Game 2, and then Jake Arrieta to take the ball for the Cubs at Wrigley in Game 3 on Wednesday. And we'll see what happens if Game 4 is needed.
Yeah, and let's hope that if all this that you've been saying happens, that on October 14th the game is during the day.
So as a not to ruin your party.
Yes, as to not to ruin our my upcoming wedding party. But I do promise to anyone who is attending the wedding party on the 14th that we will have the game on without audio, because it's my wedding. Deal with it.
Yeah, without audio is fine. It's, as long as you have it on TV.
If people are there to hear whoever's singing the stretch, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to step outside.
All right, so lots of different topics for us here in our first segment. Of course, what was going on in our country needed to be discussed, and we both had thoughts on it. So thank you for indulging us on that. We're going to take a brief time out. We come back. We have our That's So Wisconsin segment coming up. Of course, dumb criminals, dumb apps, some of the favorite things we like to talk about, and some stories in the news that maybe you missed that we think you're going to want to hear, because we love finding dumb, ridiculous, unbelievable stories to share with you. Segment 2 coming up. We are the AFDE show, Batacola Ferrari, discuss everything. That's our podcast. We're brought to you by Mickey Finn's, Lake County's first brew pub, located at 345 North Milwaukee Avenue in beautiful downtown Libertyville. Alrighty, welcome back in. Episode 10, Bell Beefer, Batacola Ferrari, discuss everything. We are brought to you by Mickey Finn's, Lake County's original brew pub. Check them out on Twitter at Mickey Finn's. Connect on Facebook, facebook.com/Mickey Finn's Brewery. Great food, fantastic beer, always live entertainment on the weekends. Check them out and you can see what's going on. Oktoberfest beer is out. Of course, a great time to visit Mickey Finn's, 345 North Milwaukee Avenue in Libertyville. Make sure you tweet me if you're going there. We'll stop on by and get you an icy cold beverage.
Maybe you could drive it over to us when we're recording the show.
That'd be great. I still keep forgetting to go get it.
Episode 10, and we still haven't had any.
Well, it's my fault. That's all it is.
I'm not saying it's their fault. I just think it's funny.
I need to go and actually get it a day or two before and just leave it in the fridge. Yeah, I don't know.
But then I want to see you bring it to the Alta areas.
Right. To bring it to work. What is that? Beer?
No, we were all going to have a little band and be like, right. You're going to play the jug.
All right, some new countries that have downloaded the Batacola
Ferrari,
discuss everything. Yeah, we haven't looked at them, but we have some new ones. Downloads in the Philippines. If I repeat these, I apologize. Poland new, Argentina.
Yeah, so
Indonesia,
let's see.
Denmark, Spain,
yes.
Israel. Very nice.
Finland, Philippines, Poland, Argentina, Indonesia, Brazil, Denmark, Spain, and Israel. All of those are new.
France has caught Germany with 7 downloads apiece. Big thanks, though, out to the United States with still number 1 as far as downloads for a country is concerned.
No, it's first only to the other regions that we still don't know what. There are 68 people in other regions.
Other regions, 68 downloads, and United Kingdom, 35. So you're doing well. Canada, our friends up north, 20 downloads. We do appreciate that. But welcome new countries, Israel, Spain, Denmark, Finland, Argentina, Poland, the Philippines. We do appreciate.
And Brazil.
Italy, I don't know what to say. Really disappointed in the lack of downloads.
I don't know if they're
in Italy.
Are they for or against the Dago Tea Party?
Maybe that's what turned them off.
Okay. So we sound like we've lost any.
No, they haven't gained any new people.
They're just not listening in the homeland.
Right. I'm sure it's on every news report to not listen to the Abaticola Ferrari Discuss Everything podcast because they have the Dago Tea Party, which is DAGOTEE, Dago Tea Party. Hashtag Dago Tea Party. That is the alternative party we began in case you don't want to go Republican or Democrat any longer. The Dago Tea Party supports reasonable, common sense gun control, gun laws in America. Just FYI.
And comfortable clothing.
And comfortable clothing. And, of course, a Dago tea. All right. One of our new segments we've been doing for a few weeks now is called That's So Wisconsin, and it is brought to you by one of our very, very dear friends, Will's Northwoods Inn in Lakeview.
Yes, Will's Northwoods at 3030 North Racine, basically like Racine and Belmont area. And we decided to do a segment with them probably about week 4 maybe?
I think 4.
About week 4. And the point of it is That's So Wisconsin. And if you have not listened to any of these segments yet, we didn't want to be like, well, what did some dumb person do in Wisconsin today? Or, the first one was actually Wisconsin sending Houston after the hurricane an insane amount of cheese and butter, which rolls very nicely into our That's So Wisconsin segment today.
They're stories that generate and originate from the great state of Wisconsin.
That make you say, that is so Wisconsin.
So today, what story did you find for us? This is an interesting look at some things in the state of Wisconsin.
Completely going against what I just said about we're not trying to find anything dumb in Wisconsin.
Well, today we happen to be doing so.
The actual article is called "Dumb Laws in Wisconsin." So, okay.
These are actual laws in the state of Wisconsin, and we're just going to read these for you and react as we react.
These may not be
current.
All current. Some of them are current because I was looking them up.
Yeah.
Some of them, as you read them, it would make no sense if they were.
Okay.
Current.
So some are current, some are not. But
I think there's one that mentions a stagecoach. That's still current. That's so Wisconsin.
These are all at one point. Either are or were laws in the state of Wisconsin, and these are not made up. These are actual laws that at one time were or currently are laws in the state of Wisconsin. The first one, state law, made it illegal to serve apple pie in public restaurants without cheese.
That's amazing. This one I wasn't even going to read, but now that I see it, it's just funny. While all cheese making requires a license, Limburger cheese making requires a master cheesemaker's license. I mean, that's not super funny. I just appreciate that Limburger is in the state law.
Now, this next one, I'm curious to know if it was very specific as far as the two participants, or if this was just about anyone. But there was a state law in Wisconsin that said it is illegal to kiss on a train. Now, was it like man and farm animal? Was it man and woman? Was it two men? Was it two women?
Based on all the cheese and butter laws, I think they're fine if someone was kissing like a cow. Or, whatever.
At one point, that was a law in Wisconsin. It was illegal to kiss on a train.
Okay. That one's dumb. This one I think is my favorite. Margarine may not be substituted for butter in restaurants unless it is requested by the customer.
No butter, please. Margarine. I'd like margarine with my grilled cheese.
Hey, bro. That grilled cheese, better be margarine on there. Like, who even asks for that?
Well, you know what?
Parquet.
If you were going to go to prison in any state in this country, Wisconsin would be the one you want to go to because there was a law that stated butter substitutes are not allowed to be served in state prisons. That was a state law in Wisconsin.
Maybe am I misreading this one? The government may not prohibit manual flushed urinals.
The government may not prohibit.
So that means they can't not allow toilets that. What? I don't. Okay.
That may not. So at one point, the government prohibited manual flush toilets?
Apparently so. I don't know if this was countrywide, but apparently in Wisconsin, they did, and the government now is not allowed to do that anymore. Yeah, so that one's weird. No,
I want to read this one.
Okay, do it. Well, let's just read them all.
Yeah, whenever two trains meet at an intersection of said tracks, neither shall proceed until the other has.
Does that mean they just stop and never move again?
No one moves?
Well, that explains the really fast transit.
Right. Come on, Jim. You go. No, Bill. You go.
I just see they're eventually on lawn chairs eating lunch.
No, you go. I can't go till you go. You better go. That's great.
Let's see. As people used to smuggle it in from Illinois, all yellow butter substitute is banned.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a theme of the margarine problems.
Yeah, seriously. This one, condoms were considered an obscene article and had to be hidden behind the pharmacist counter.
All right.
So you couldn't just casually walk down the aisle and grab a box of Trojans.
No.
You had to go up to the pharmacist.
But you had to walk up to him and get dip, cigars, airport bottles of booze, and prophylactics.
Right, and also cough medicine, so you can make your. Make your. What is it?
No, you have to ring the buzzer so you can get meth.
Right.
Yeah, you need your.
Yeah, I'm here to make some meth and also have sex, so I need condoms and cough syrup, please.
And then enjoy a nice Swisher Sweet at the end of all of the above.
I want a dip afterwards. Can I get a thing of Skull?
Yeah, I want a Levi Garrett scraps. Okay.
Oh wow!
Wait. At one time, margarine was illegal.
Wow, that's great. You cannot use margarine in the state of Wisconsin.
Oh my God! All right, here's the one I was saying that may not be as hyper relevant as the rest.
One may not camp in a wagon on any public highway or risk a fine of up to $10.
So,
well, obviously, wagon and $10. It tells you that was some time ago. I'm sorry, sir. What do you think you're doing? You think you're camping out in this wagon? Well, that's going to be $10.
$10.
What do you think? I'm Rockefeller?
Oh my God. It is illegal to. Oh well. Wait. What? It is a Class A misdemeanor to wave a burning torch around in the air. Oh
like you just don't care.
Oh my God. Okay.
Hey, what do you kids think you're doing? Hey, officer, we're just waving this torch around in the air like we just don't care.
We heard there was a Frankenstein monster in the area.
That's what it is, yeah. It is illegal to throw rocks at a railroad car.
I appreciate that.
That's fine. I'm fine with that one. And last one.
Oh,
last but not least.
Livestock have the right of way on public roads.
There you go. That is this week's episode of That's So Wisconsin. Of course, brought to you by Will's Northwoods in Lakeview.
Yeah. So I need to text Kevin, the GM over there, and be like, if you're not listening to every single one of these segments, you will absolutely appreciate the sweet, sweet laws in the fine state of Wisconsin.
What's their website?
WillsNorthwoodsInn.com.
Yeah, check them out. You can check out specials and events happening there at Will's Northwoods Inn in Lakeview, and of course a fantastic place. Mentioned it to a few different friends here from the podcast and people who have been there. Oh, I love that bar. It's a great bar. And one person was like, yeah, that's a Wisconsin bar. I wouldn't go there.
Really?
Yeah. Because of the whole Big Ten thing.
Okay.
People support Michigan State.
I know, but I thought maybe you were explaining the segment to them, and then they had that epiphany.
No, it was just
it's not. This isn't a That's So Big Ten segment,
right? That's so Big Ten. No, no margarine.
That's so every city in the Midwest and randomly Maryland.
All right, thank you, Wills, for your kind support. Remember, check them out and get yourself out there and have a good time watching college football over at Wills. One other thing we love to do on the AFDE podcast is share some stories in the news that maybe you missed, you didn't see. And, of course, we're hoping that you love everything that we find in the news, the wild, dumb, stupid stories. Here's one for you, Jay. I don't know if you saw this one, but this is from Men's Health. It is the 5 of the weirdest pairs of underwear that exist. but don't need to. So these are 5 of the weirdest pairs of men's underwear that exist, but don't need to. Number 1 is the Speak Easy briefs. Here's how they catalog this one.
Comes with a bartender.
Never fall victim to another cavity search. Hide cash, cards, condoms, passports, or even a flask with this pair of briefs with a pocket in the front. So could you imagine, like, you go to a bar, and let's say you're a server, and you're like, yeah, that'll be $12.50,
I was
please.
just thinking
and
of
the guy goes into his pants, into his underwear, and pulls out a $20 and hands it to you across the bar.
What were those shoes with the Velcro or the ruse? Like I'm just picturing like it's like a Velcro wallet pouch in the front.
Yeah, so this is a pocket in the front of the briefs, and that's a picture of it for you there. So there's a pocket right over the.
Dude, it looks like, you know what? It looks like the regular underwear crease, but just with like a stitched pocket in it.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
They're boxer briefs with a pocket in front, so
God.
you can just imagine a pocket right covering your junk, and you can put your wallet right in there or your money.
Hey, is that your wallet? Yes. Yes, it is.
These are called Shreddy's Flatulence Filtering Underwear. Let her rip and don't worry about any unwanted smells. The Shreddies have an active carbon fiber lining that makes sure your farts don't bother anyone other than your own uncomfortable self. Carbon-lined underpants. So you can fart wherever you are.
I don't know what's more funny, that or just underpants.
All right, here's number 3.
Underpants.
I'm pretty sure Tom Cruise wore these in the making of Valkyrie. These are called his butt booster underwear. Oh my God. You know not to skip leg day, but if you have been, your finest assets are deflating. These padded briefs will make that butt pop. The ladies will love it until they find out the horrible truth that you're wearing padded butt underwear. Padded butt underwear.
Oh, yeah, it's got like no, but it looks like you just automatically
looks
have
like
a
a whoopee
wedgie,
cushion,
doesn't it?
Looks like a whoopee
well, yeah,
cushion.
it does. So it looks
You're
like
wearing
there's like
a whoopee cushion.
people would be like, that guy just has like a permanent wedge.
How about this? How about transparent boxer briefs? And the picture is very uncomfortable in this one. I need to share it with you.
Oh, that's the
that
one,
guy
yeah,
has got a full hand on his junk. These boxer briefs hide nothing, leave nothing to the imagination, and still feel comfortable enough for a day at work. Transparent boxer briefs.
All right, so
the purpose? Couldn't tell you.
yeah, I was gonna say,
Unless you're a stripper.
Unless you're at work in your transparent underwear and just it's not awkward for everybody.
Unless you're an exotic dancer.
Or an underwear model.
And the last one. These are the no-show profile sling support briefs. They'll give you an idea what they are. Is your confidence shot? Much like that of the butt booster, get a subtle, visible upgrade to your package with these briefs. The pouch acts like a push-up bra, making your junk much more conspicuous. Hey, rock stars use to stuff cucumbers down their pants. This is way better. And there's a photo for you, my friend, because I love you.
I thought it was a sock. They put cucumbers in their pants. Now that's pushing it.
That is pushing it. So this is like the male version of the push-up bra for your Franks and Beans.
Oh God, which actually segues really well into the ridiculous story that I found. Unless are there?
That's it. No, those are the 5 of the weirdest pair of men's underwear that exist, but don't need to. Certainly
I don't even
agree
know
with that.
yeah. So obviously there is a full supporting article to this and many articles, but I feel like we should just bring up what the topic is and really dig in here. So apparently within the last year, there's become a trend that's becoming more popular now called Scrotox, which is...
And it's exactly what you're thinking out there.
It is. It's Botox in the old hairy beanbag. Wow. Oh, actually, here, look at this stat, too. What is it? Does that say? Plastic surgery in the last, how many years is that? 337% increase in the last 10 years. Oh, my God. Dave Chappelle was talking about smoothing out his scrotum 10 years ago. Okay, yeah, but he was kidding. He was kidding. So people are basically going against scientifically or biologically what the scrotum is supposed to do. It hangs unevenly for a very specific reason. 1, to produce sperm. 2, so you can walk and sit. This tightens them up and removes wrinkles.
So, I mean, I guess if you got an extra hairy or extra wrinkly sack, I don't know. I mean, you know what? Here's the thing. They serve a purpose. They're definitely never meant to be attractive.
Displayed.
Right. I mean, you can display them if you want.
No.
But,
Okay,
I mean,
displayed for enjoyment.
right. They're never meant to be enjoyed.
They're not an art exhibit.
Right. So I'm reading it here. It just says that men are doing it. It makes them more sensitive and it makes it better for sex.
Oh, and it also gets rid of the old sweatsky. Apparently, it helps to and put in some kind of a neurotoxin that is also used in underarms and on palms.
Okay. Oh, you have sweaty palms.
Well, yeah. But,
so this will make your sack less sweaty?
That's always good. So I guess maybe you can just get the same kind of treatment on your palms, your armpits, and your sack.
All at the same time. What are we doing today, Jason? Let's do armpits,
well, man,
palms,
I've decided
and
to eliminate
right.
sweating from my life in most areas of the body.
All right, here's a question for you. Is your shaving cream messing with your sperm count? Most men know the risk of shaving. Namely, you can cut yourself and you got to walk out with a Band-Aid or a piece of toilet paper stuck to your face. But new research suggests...
It looks like the Japan flag. Yes.
Is that a tattoo? No, I cut myself shaving. New research suggests that men using certain products in their shaving products could carry a distressing unseen risk, a lowered sperm count. A study from the University of Massachusetts, and this is great that they're actually studying this, found that phthalates, a type of chemical compound commonly found in shaving cream and other personal hygiene and household products, could have detrimental effects on a man's ability to reproduce. The team of researchers studied 48 couples. They recruited a local IVF clinic. They collected a single urine sample from the men the same day they donated sperm and analyzed the phthalate levels. What researchers found is that phthalates can alter the DNA in sperm by attaching chemical modifiers to the proteins that make up genetic material. This can have adverse effects on sperm count. As a result,
sperm count. Oh, count. Yeah. Like sperm count.
On sperm count.
That's a whole different channel.
So depending on what type of products you use, you have to see the levels of phthalates that are in the hygiene products used, particularly shaving cream, and it could have a negative effect on your sperm count. On your sperm count,
and both
so
your sperm account.
If you happen to have a bank that takes your sperm and your sperm account, I don't like you saying that.
Actually,
your sperm
that works really well though. The account in the sperm bank.
So if you're out there listening and you're having difficulty getting your woman knocked up, check in your shaving cream and your hygiene products. You may have low swimmers because of your shaving cream.
Based on my shaving lifestyle, I should have about 75 kids.
Do you have a preference of shaving cream? I used to.
Butter? No, I mean, no margarine. Always butter.
Well, in Wisconsin. I used to have a preference, a gel brand, but now I based buy on price. I don't even care what it is or if it's the foamy kind. But if it's Barbasol, I don't mind.
Shave butter stuff.
Oh, yeah?
I'm not kidding.
Oh, so the expensive stuff, or is it?
No,
okay.
It's like $6.
But is there a lot, though? Isn't it like a small amount?
No.
Oh.
It looks like I don't know. I can't. I'll... When we do
the
like
next break, is it like a lotion pump?
No, it's like a hair gel thing, but it's
a tube.
Yeah, it's
squeeze
a hair gel tube.
Squeeze tube.
There are things that Matt and I can never seem to remember. Now it's become
basic words,
normal household items.
Right. Used to be movie titles and quotes. Now it's just household everyday items.
I think shave butter is affecting my ability to remember things.
Right, and your sperm account.
Yeah. Okay, the next story. Headline, one of my favorites in the last several weeks.
The headline is just worth reading itself.
The dog walker finds intact penis and testicles on the beach.
Dog walker finds intact penis and testicles on beach.
Yes. Not on the beach, on beach.
On beach.
This is an article out of the UK, so I still have looked at it several times and don't know if it says a country. It says a beach. It's in some areas. So basically this dog walker was walking and saw what...
Those first two paragraphs.
No, exactly. A woman whose dog grabbed something in its mouth after it had washed up on the beach had expected to find a dead bird. However, Julie Edwards was shocked to discover that her basset hound, Molly, had instead found an intact penis and testicles.
Could you imagine? All right, so it's like... If you have kids, you have little kids, you're a parent, you've had this happen at one time or another. Your little toddler's got something in their mouth, your baby's got, and you expect it to be like a goldfish, and instead it's like your car keys. You get kind of shocked by that. So you're walking your dog along the beach one day like you always do, and you're like, oh, Molly found another dead bird that washed up on the ocean, because that makes sense. And you go to grab it out of Molly's mouth, and you got the tip of a penis in your hand.
Like balls.
And Molly and you are playing tug of war on the beach.
Now it's getting worse. Now it's getting more awkward.
Let go of it, Molly. Let go of it.
My God.
And Molly thinks you're playing because Molly's a dumb dog who licks her butthole, and she's like, and you're pulling it harder and harder. You're stretching this wiener out as joggers are going by, going, that woman's playing tug of war with a cock and balls.
Oh my God. She immediately contacted the beach warden. So this is definitely Europe.
Definitely not in America.
Wait,
Well, that'd be a great job.
America, Baywatch. Europe, beach warden.
Right.
Speedo Patrol. All right, but Julie is... wait, hold on. What is it? Where it is yet to be identified, Julie is convinced that it was human and looked very much like an intact penis and male testicles.
I'm sorry, what confusion would there be?
I don't know. Wait, let's see. Oh, I don't even want to read.
Well, what other
the maggots part?
But gross. But I mean, how could there be any confusion? Like, would you see an intact penis and testicles on the beach and then go, I wonder if those are human? I mean, do they look like a bird's testicles? Is that what your dog
Well, here's
looks like?
what I said though. It definitely looked human to me. I think it was dude, she just keeps repeating this. I think it was an intact penis and male testicles. It was upsetting more later on when you actually think that it could be someone's relative.
Well, it definitely was someone's relative.
So far, police are unclear whether the body part is human or belonged to another animal.
How could there be confusion about that?
I don't know.
It does. I mean, the male junk doesn't look like any other animals in the world, unless there's some animal I don't know about that's walking around with similar looking wiener and balls.
Yeah, and then somebody has way too much free time to figure out whose wiener and balls look like humans. That's out of my realm.
Yeah. Well, anyway, great stories.
Speaking of people with too much time and who don't make the greatest decisions.
Every week we bring to you dumb criminals, and this week's dumb criminal comes to us from the great state of Florida. Florida man has world's greatest criminal alias ever. When the officer arrived, the suspect said, "I will beat every cop's ass."
Oh my God!
This guy is great.
Was it a 40th?
When police in Largo, Florida, arrested Jeffrey Forrest Poole on charges of violently resisting a police officer, the authorities made sure to list things like his age, weight, and address in the arrest report. Officers also included an alias that Poole has allegedly used in the past, and it's pretty awesome, as well as not safe for work, but more on that later. Police were called to the 37-year-old suspect's home on a reported domestic disturbance early Sunday morning. When the officer arrived, according to the criminal complaint, Poole exited his home and said, "I will beat every cop's ass." Then Poole raised his right fist and began to extend it towards my officer in an attempt to strike me. The arresting officer wrote Sunday in the Smoking Gun. Since Poole was arrested and taken to Pinellas County Jail, it is highly unlikely he made good on his ass-kicking promise. Poole was charged with assaulting a police officer and violently resisting arrest. He remains behind bars in lieu of his $5,100 bail. What makes the case interesting beyond Pinellas County is one tiny detail. The criminal alias Poole has previously used was...
I'm already laughing. I don't even know what it is. Dude, just take a break.
The name that he would give was Dick Face Johnson.
That's amazing. Dude, how many? Well, apparently segment 2, other than Wisconsin, is brought to you by Balls and Dicks.
The name showed up because Poole was either asked if he had any aliases or a record on file under that name, according. And there's a file here that they showed, and it says Dick Face Johnson was his name. So great.
Jesus.
That's this week's dumb criminal. Jeffrey Forrest Poole, a.k.a. Dick Face Johnson, which could be the name of his show.
Yeah. Write that down.
Oh, man.
Oh, we have a long list. Well, like a long Dick Face Johnson, we have a long list of potential show titles.
All right, and every week in the second segment of Abaticola and Ferrari Discuss Everything, we like to bring to you what I love to call dumb apps. And here is Jason Ferrari with this week's edition of Dumb Apps.
So I'm improving the order here because I put them in order, but as I read them again, they're just, it's so hard to do this. Let's start with the anti-mosquito sound simulator.
Oh, boy.
And I do love the quote under the review of the app. Although the developer does not guarantee anything, the app claims to emit ultrasonic sounds that can irritate small insects.
So this is an app that you download on your phone just to make the similar sounds of like the bzz,
Well, yeah, but I mean it's an ultrasonic sound that can irritate insects.
But they don't guarantee anything though.
Yeah, I don't even know what it is. I just picture you open up your phone and it's Jim Carrey. Want to hear the most annoying sound in the room? Yeah, that irritates pretty much everybody. All right, let's see. We've got... Okay, well, this one's pretty stupid, but it's not as bad as the other ones. The Sexy Alphabet Deluxe app. Apparently, it's 24 letters of the alphabet spoken by, quote, a professional voice model in a sexual and sophisticated way.
Wow.
Already dumb, but what I like is that as I was reading more about it, it's sexual enough, apparently, for Apple to rate this application 12 plus for
Seriously?
infrequent, mild sexual content or nudity.
12
plus. Oh, America. Oh, that's great. Yeah, we've got all these other problems. At the very least, we can have 20, not the full alphabet, half the alphabet spoken, a sexy voice that's appropriate for people 12 or older. Okay. Let's see. All right. I nap at work. I actually kind of like this, but then as I read about it, I'm like, no, clearly this is not going to do anything. So it's an app that you can play while you're sleeping at your desk that kind of plays sound effects like you're working. Mouse clicks, keyboard taps, pencil sharpeners, coughs and rustling paper to give power nappers some cover. Now it says you can also you can move the slider to like control your productivity. So to make it seem like I guess you're
busier
more
office or less busy.
busy.
Yeah. Okay.
Now in our tests, however, the noises were a little too random to sound convincing. Besides, which is worse, to get caught napping or to get caught napping using a lame iPhone app to pretend that you aren't?
That's great.
Yes.
So that's called I Nap at Work?
At the ampersand at work.
Okay.
Okay. So I've decided what the dumbest one is. So I'm going to go for the second dumbest is called Taxi Hold'em. So it's, kind of like Texas Hold'em, but Taxi Hold'em. I don't know how this is actually even possible audibly, but you hit the button and it whistles. And then if you turn your phone sideways, it shows a big flashing taxi sign. So it's making a whistling sound from your phone on a public street. So I'm guessing no one's really hearing said app whistle. But I did put something down as I was writing this down to myself that just said it should also flash "steal me."
Right.
Like,
no, I like the idea of you flip it around long ways so that it flashes taxi. That
right.
At night that might be helpful,
unless you have an
and
iPad,
useful,
like,
but right. I mean, still
your little phone,
right.
Like,
have you ever had any great difficulty on a consistent basis getting a cab?
Yeah, because I haven't tried to use a cab in.
But I mean, when you're using the
out.
city, though. But I mean, did you ever have a hard time getting?
No.
I mean, once in a while
Unless
you might
it's
have
Halloween or New Year's, where
right.
there aren't any.
That's expected.
Otherwise,
or like
no.
if it's a severe rainstorm, like you'd expect you're going to wait a little while. But generally speaking, it's
right.
not that difficult.
Or I
to get
have
a cab.
wherever I am, call me a cab.
Right, and now I mean with Uber and Lyft available, but yeah, it was never really that difficult to get a cab.
No.
Yeah. All right.
But even when we were I went to Trisha's 25th reunion not too long ago, and there weren't a ton of Ubers like in that area.
Right.
The bar we were at just was like, well, hold on a second. They call a cab. The guy was there in 5 minutes. Like, it was like what I mean, right. It's I think people make more of it than need be. Dumbest app of the week. Just personally for me, it's because of how dumb doing this is. I know people are guilty of it, but it doesn't make it less dumb. The app is called Type and Walk. It's only available on the Android platform. Wow. And so the new smarter way to type while walking lets you see what's in front of you while typing and walking. This app uses your Android's phone camera and superimposes your text message over the view as you type and walk, that you can more confidentially fall into a hole or other hazard of your preference that is outside of your camera's viewing area. As an added benefit, this app rotates the camera view sideways so that you can more conveniently fall into a hole. So, texting and walking, it's already just bad enough. But an app that. Can you imagine doing that? You're like walking, and it's the camera showing you what's in front of you with your text over it.
Yeah, I like to download that, but it's only for the Android. So.
Yeah, I don't.
Wow. All right, so that concludes this week's dumb apps and dumb criminal. I do love the all the dumb apps you find. These were remarkably dumb this week, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the anti-mosquito one, the nap at work, that type and walk. Wow. And the taxi hold'em. Yeah, clever name, clever idea, but boy, these are some dumb apps. We'll get them to you every episode. This is episode 10. It's called Bell Beefer. He's Ferrari. I'm a Baticola. It's a Baticola Ferrari Discuss Everything. We're brought to you by Mickey Finn's, Lake County's oldest brew pub, 345 North Milwaukee Avenue in Libertyville. Welcome back in. It's episode 10, Bell Beefer, AFDE show, a Baticola Ferrari Discuss Everything podcast. Thank you for downloading, supporting, and sharing with your friends and family. We do appreciate it. We are brought to you by Mickey Finn's, Lake County's oldest brew pub, 345 North Milwaukee Avenue in Libertyville. Check them out at Mickey Finn's on Twitter. We have some things that we want to get to in segment 3, some new features for the show. Before we do, though, Jay, there was something that I had from a couple weeks ago, and I just saw it again as I text myself things for the show, and I wanted to bring this to you because I immediately thought of you when I saw this story. There's a new product available in vending machines in Japan. I'm trying to get you one because I think you need it. One of the most popular canned coffee brands is called Georgia, which is in Georgia. So let me try that again. One of the most popular canned coffee brands is Georgia, which is part of the Coca-Cola family and gets its name from the company's home state. Coca-Cola Japan recently decided to meld its coffee know-how with its soda expertise and created the brand new Coca-Cola Coffee Plus, which just went on sale this month in vending machines.
Oh, boy.
So the name is similar to the health-focused zero-calorie Coca-Cola Plus that went on sale last spring in Japan. But while Coca-Cola Coffee Plus does not have half the calories of ordinary Coca-Cola, the main selling point here is that his beverage comes pre-mixed with a coffee extract powder, making it a hybrid of two of modern society's favorite carbonated beverages. So imagine you drinking not only a regular Coca-Cola,
Why would you want to do this?
but a Coca-Cola with coffee mixed in it.
I think I'd travel through time.
Which
is, I actually didn't even say that on purpose. So that's
imagine
what a great segue. Like
how late you would be up and how fast you would be talking.
Oh,
Jason, down this.
Somehow I've bitten off most of my tongue. I've lost a tooth.
Where's everyone at? Why is everyone sleeping? What's going on?
I thought for a second you were going to say, but somewhere in Japan they had Coca-Cola and red wine at a vending machine. I'm like, we're going to Japan.
You know, did I ever tell you the story?
What's it called? Flaxseed oil? What's the name of that drink?
Years and years ago, we were at somebody at the store got married, and Ranji bought a date, and it was this girl he was dating for a while, and she was Asian. Her name was Pam.
Okay.
But
Pam,
P-A-M,
No,
and
Pam.
when he was telling me her name, it was like loud at the bar, and I didn't understand him, and I thought he was saying something, and he goes, no, it's just Pam. And I thought he was saying Japan.
Her name is Japan.
And I was like, wow. I go, your name is Japan? And I was like, wow, you're an Asian girl, and your name is Japan? And no, it's just Pam. I go, yeah, Japan. No, just Pam. All right, Japan, I get it.
Pan.
So then I finally got it that it was actually, her name was just Pam, P-A-M. But from that point on, for as long as he dated her, she was known as Japan.
Wow.
So it wasn't racist at all on my part, calling an Asian girl Japan.
No, it's not like the McAfrica.
I'd see her out and be like, hey, what's up, Japan? Yeah. Oh, the McAfrica. Anyway. All right. So, there's a couple things I wanted to tell you, too. Yep. You know, my mom is staying with me. You know, she moved back from Arizona, and I said she could stay with me until she gets herself all situated and whatnot. She's moved herself in pretty comfortably, so I don't think Mom's moving out anytime soon.
Yes, I think you're moving out.
Right, I might be moving out of my own apartment. Mom, I'll still pay the rent. I'm just leaving, please. So Mom has, like, a couple times now has cooked dinner, which is really nice. She made homemade meatballs.
I saw that
week,
on Instagram.
Like, I could easily sell her meatballs and sauce. I could can them or package them and sell them. They are unbelievable.
Nice.
One of my favorite things to eat in the world. But she also she wanted to be nice, and she bought some chicken breasts. and she marinated them in a mixture with oil and whatnot, and she put them into a Ziploc bag, a giant Ziploc bag, marinated them in the oil, and then put the bag in the fridge. Cooked the chicken that night, everything, whatever, great, fine. So the next morning, I went into the fridge to get out a package of bacon. So I had a package of bacon on the bottom shelf of the fridge in the very back. And I reached in and I grabbed it, and then my hand was all covered. And I was like, what in God's name what happened to the bacon? And then I'm like, wait a second. And I look, and there's a giant yellowish pool of liquid in the bottom of the fridge that was covering over the bacon and a couple cans of LaCroix that were in the back, section of my neatly lined up OCD lines of LaCroix in the fridge.
Like my refrigerator.
Right. And they were all over the top of it. And then I realized that it was the oil from the marinade in the Ziploc bags. So it was like raw chicken oil marinade had leaked all over the fridge. So here it is. It's like, it's 6:15 in the morning.
Christ, you need like a hazmat suit.
Oh, dude,
at that
so
point.
I'm like, I have to empty the entire fridge out and Windex and Clorox wipes. I'm cleaning. And
You're
so
calling the guys that from ET.
I had Stranger Things guys coming over in their hazmat suits. And so Mom walks in the kitchen. I'm on the floor and I'm just about done. Oh, Matthew, what are you doing? Cleaning the fridge out this morning? Wow, you're really getting after it. I'm like, no, Mom, I had to clean up all the raw chicken oil that leaked all over the fridge from the chicken marinade you had. I go, gross. Mom, you put chicken in a bag in a marinade, you put the bag in a bowl. I go, that's what every part of America does. That's what you should do too. Well, what kind of Ziploc bags did you buy? I'm sure the bags weren't sealed properly. I'm like, Mom, don't try to blame the bags. It's a user error, not the Ziploc brand. I go, they're the Ziploc brand. That's what you always buy, the double lock and everything.
Yeah, no kidding.
She's trying to say that the bag was faulty.
Yeah.
So that was one mom story that we've had so far, and there have been plenty that I'll share. Being roommates with Mom is fun again. And Jack the other day, Jack's been doing really good at pooping on the toilet. Jack
solid.
Jack takes he takes the biggest poops ever that I've ever seen from any human. They are ginormous. I mean, they are the biggest. The first time I saw one of Jack's poops in the toilet, I was like, good God, did a horse come in here and dump in my toilet? It was. I mean, we've all seen horse poop before.
Yeah.
It was like that. I mean the size of the turds, the circumference of the turds, the amount of poop was abnormal to come from this little 3-year-old boy.
Jackson.
And I stood there so proud as a father. So the he went to the potty the other day, and he has a little stool that he pulls in front of the toilet so he can step up on the toilet. It's still a little hard to get his butt up there.
I've seen said stool.
And we use it to brush our teeth, wash hands. So he pulls it over to the toilet and then steps on it, turns around, and then he gets up on the toilet seat to poop. Well, apparently he went to the bathroom a little too late, didn't really have time for the toilet seat, was trying to get up on his own, didn't do it, and started pooping on the floor. Okay, so I'm in the kitchen. And Hank comes walking into the kitchen. He's got a donut in one hand, donut in his mouth, his water cup, sippy cup in the other hand. So he's got a mouthful of food. Hey, Dad. Yeah, Hank. Dad, you might want to go in the bathroom right now. Oh, yeah. Why? What's going on, buddy? Well, Jack's pooping, and he's pooping on the floor right now.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so I'm like, what? So go run into the bathroom, and sure enough, Jack had pooped all over the floor, and he had managed to step in it, and then he was trying to wipe it.
Oh,
and so it was like smearing all over.
God,
Yeah.
Call a priest.
And I'm like, all right, dude, what's going on in here? Dad, I had to poop. I'm like, yeah, apparently you did.
You sure?
Everywhere. So, and then, of course, I like probably the look of shock on my face, and Dad, are you mad? No, I'm not mad, buddy. It's poop on the floor.
Mad. That's amazing.
Yeah, so
you pooped in the refrigerator.
You ate the entire wheel of cheese. Yeah, so that was immediately pull the shower curtain, turn the tub on, and yeah, let's get you all washed up after we bleached the floor down. So thanks to Jack and my mom, I got an exceptionally clean bathroom floor and exceptionally clean refrigerator over the past week. So
you just reminded me of something. We don't need to dwell on this, but a poop story.
Who doesn't love a good poop story?
So Dave's sons years ago, we've got an older brother and a younger brother, and the older brother convinced the younger brother to shit in the vent, take the vent off the vent cover off. And
Seriously?
Shit in the vent.
Oh.
And then after he did it, he went and ratted him out. He's like, "Hey, Colin just shit in the vent." Well, he didn't say shit.
That's great.
Daddy, so. Yeah.
God,
Can
I
you
would
imagine
pay
like,
money to hear the conversation, like how he got him to do it.
Oh, no, and how do you? Yeah, that, and then how do you clean a vent? Like, how do you get shit out of a vent?
Well, that's when you call someone.
Yeah,
You're like,
exactly.
hey, an animal broke in and pooped in my vent. So.
My 4-year-old son.
There was a raccoon.
Just dropped a deuce.
Raccoon walked in, dropped a deuce in the vent, and left.
HVAC indoors.
Right. I would love to hear that conversation.
I know.
All right,
so there's that.
Yeah, and we're going to do a new thing every week, and it's about the best tweets of the week, so we can highlight some of the best social media moments because generally they're bad. But this week it kind of took, even for our first one, it took a little bit of a different turn as I came across these tweets. And this was an article posted from Huffington Post. And it was entitled "The Funniest Tweets from Parents This Week." And I thought, all right, as a parent, that might be interesting to see. And what I found, well, I'm not even going to describe how I felt after reading. I'm just going to read these to you and see how you feel. Remember, the title of this was "The Funniest Tweets from Parents
not
This
best,
Week."
Funniest.
So this comes to us from @sarcasticmommy4. She tweeted, "If you like being told on a daily basis that your cookies are horrible, then kids are totally for you."
I think her handle's better than the tweet.
Remember, these are the funniest tweets from parents this week.
Way to go, HuffPost.
These were the funniest. Hate to see the ones that failed. This is from L Holder, @L Holder.
L
Holder.
Or
the
L?
letter L.
Okay.
Yep, it's a female person.
Well, yeah.
"Whenever my kid's teacher asks how I'm doing, I always want to reply, 'Why? What did my kid tell you?'"
Oh my God. We need a cricket sound. I'm gonna get cricket sound effects in post.
Here's the handle @OneFunnyMummy, MUMMY. "Happily ever after had to be made up by a parent who wanted to end story time sooner than later."
Okay, for this segment, we might need to plug in these drums.
Seriously, rim shots?
Yeah, seriously. Oh my God.
This is from @Exploding Unicorn. See, the handle names are better than their tweets.
Yeah, that should be the best.
This is from @Exploding Unicorn. "My 5-year-old called Parmesan cheese spaghetti sprinkles. And now that's officially a food group in my house."
Well, I mean, of all of them, that one, no.
How about this one?
It's no exploding unicorn.
@BlueBonnetBabies. "Parenting is 30% wondering why the kids are so quiet and 70% rejoicing in the silence." Remember, this is Huffington Post, the funniest tweets from parents this week.
Also, that one, I think Matt and I did talk about this one briefly before this, just to say, no, that percentage, those percentages are very, very wrong.
If you have little kids, when you suddenly realize there's silence in your home, you panic immediately.
No kidding.
Like if the boys are in the room,
What are they doing?
If the boys are in their room playing, and all of a sudden it's quiet, and when I finally realize it's quiet, I jump up from the couch and I'm just like, all right, I'm expecting to see one on top of the other, like with a pillow over his face, and all right, that was from @BlueBonnetBabies.
Instead, they're just in there watching The Bodyguard.
Right, for the 47th time. Remember, these are the funniest tweets from parents this week. This is from @Simon Holland. "My daughter wants to be really scary this Halloween, so instead of a costume, she is going to carry a school fundraising packet to every door."
Man.
@Mother Playlist. "Hell hath no fury like a 4-year-old whose apple slices are on the wrong side of the plate."
Or someone who might need to seek some kind of help.
And this is from @ValueGirl. "Just dry shampooed and Febrezed my kid on his way out the door, so I'm not really interested in your family's morning chore chart."
What the fuck? Okay.
Once again, Huffington Post. These are the
rough neighborhood.
funniest tweets, funniest parents' tweets of the week. This is at Carbusi. All right. "If parenting has taught me one thing, it's to never share a water bottle with a kid eating crackers."
Helpful.
And the last one, @LaGuardia Cross. "Kids are in bed early. It's Friday night. What should we do? Netflix and chill? Pass out? Or you're already asleep?" Remember, these are the funniest tweets from
I feel like
parents this week.
I just now this after that last one. Now I just envision like an SNL sketch of just like someone standing in front of a brick wall, like nerdy parents in front of like a brick wall with like a spotlight, just saying that. Oh God.
All right,
Netflix and chill.
So what? Who is it that has his the mean tweets? Is that Kimmel or is that Fallon?
Oh, it's Kimmel.
Okay,
Brilliant.
So yeah, it is great. So I'm I wanted to do like great tweets to highlight some of the better moments of social media. If Huffington Post does this every week for us, we might have to do the funniest tweets from parents each week because that was awful.
Wow.
If those are the funny ones.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
We will we will section them off and we'll pick 3 of the greatest parents tweets of the week. And then what we want to do with this segment is to highlight on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, any of the MySpace, any of the social media machines who's doing some cool stuff on social that week and why we like it, and then we want to reach out to them and say, "Hey man, nice job.
Doing a nice job.
Do a show high five."
But this week, we got sidetracked by Huffington Post and the funniest tweets by parents this week, which were absolutely god awful. So we also want to find some stories that we have found to be positive and inspirational, and kind of share those things. And we didn't really have a specific stories to read or share, but certainly stories of inspiration that came out of the tragedy in Las Vegas. And this is always the case whenever one of these tragedies has happened and it's become far too common in our country. You hear the stories of people, and not even like first responders, but everyday regular people rushing towards gunfire, running into just buildings where there's a shooter, just to go out and help strangers. And the number of stories we've heard in the last couple of days of strangers helping strangers get to safety. One guy who drove 20 people, not all at one time, but went back and forth, driving people to the hospital in his car. There was a story of a young man I saw today who was helping people get over a fence and was guiding people who were hiding and scared to move, helping them move to get to a safer area.
They were behind cars and stuff.
Yeah, and he was helping them get out of the area, and then he went back in like a 4th or 5th time. They said he rescued like 20 people and got them to safety. A 4th or 5th time, went back in, turned around, and took a bullet right into the shoulder. But he was doing fine. Saw the interview today, and of course the first responders they know exactly what they're hearing when they hear that type of weapon. They know what they're dealing with. And you got first responders without firearms because they're like off duty, they're hanging out as a concert goer,
right?
And police officers with a standard issued sidearm running towards what they know to be a fully automatic weapon, and it's like you're gonna have no chance at the position you're in, but yet that's what they're doing, and that's the kind of And I know people. We talked about it earlier, Jane, our first segment about you can't stop bad guys, and bad guys will always get guns, and bad things are always going to happen. But the good thing is that there is more good in the world than there is bad. It's just unfortunate that we highlight and we talk about the bad, and that's what the news covers and talks about, and we don't hear
what brings
good things.
What brings that stuff to light. Unfortunately, is it has to be in this case, something bad, something
a violent, evil tragedy. But there is more good, and that's one of the things you can take away from the story is that there are people out there that help strangers, and that there are people that do what they can to sacrifice and even lay down their lives for strangers when you have these type of situation that happens. So, even as dark and as gloomy and, it seems like an impossible situation to battle through as a nation, there's more good that comes out of a story like this than the overall story of a psycho gunman firing down and just killing people for no reason.
Right. And, as a connection to, the 2 segments that we want to start doing, or 2 bits, whatever you want to call this in our last segment of the show. But social media as well played a very good part. Celebrities, social media influencers, athletes, things along those lines. We're all getting people to go to blood drives and to donate blood and directing them to like places that they could go to help. It's using celebrity for good,
right?
Is cool. And so as we want to try and find things that are inspirational for every week, but obviously given what happened yesterday, I thought that we both thought this would be the most inspirational things that we would find.
I heard one of the press conferences today, and they were asking for donations. Started asking for donations yesterday, and they had At this yesterday or earlier this afternoon, around 2 or 3 o'clock, there was 53,000 donations made at just over $3.5 million. And the amount of blood that's being donated, and there's still more needed, more money is needed, more resources are needed, more blood is needed. Just the amount of people from all around the country that are donating and giving blood and providing money for people that are going to need surgery and need help for the injuries they sustained after they're out of the hospital. So people are doing good things, and that's one positive thing to examine and to look at out of a tragedy like this is even how strangers come together, and it doesn't matter your political affiliation or the color of your skin or the church you attend or the neighborhood you live in. Everyone helps everyone at this point.
Yeah,
and it's unfortunate that it takes something like that for those barriers and those walls to be broken down at times.
Well, just heroism and compassion. I think that's really, it doesn't. We can't say this enough. That's really what is needed in these situations. I mean, obviously, from the law side, that's something else. But when something like this happens, like compassion and being able to try and do something positive.
All right, today is, for us, it's Tuesday, October 3rd, and tomorrow is National Taco Day. So I hope you had tacos after you listened to this podcast. You had them earlier in the week. We want to also take a look at today, and as we time travel today, this day in history. And so we have a few things to highlight that took place on October 3rd. In different years, and you want to do the first one here?
Well, you're baseball guy. This one's yours.
Yeah. So this is the shot.
I'm Abraham Lincoln guy.
You're right, a baseball guy. This is the shot heard around the world, and this took place on October 3rd, 1951. It was to win the NL pennant. Bobby Thompson, third baseman for the New York Giants, hit a home run off of the Dodgers. It was the Brooklyn Dodgers. It was the shot heard around the world. The Giants trailed 4-2. Thompson hit the game-winning home run. Of course, one of the most famous moments in all of sports history. And of course, the significance of it, the fact that it was baseball playoffs and the Giants beating the Dodgers in the playoffs. You had those two teams. Yeah, kids. There was a time when the San Francisco Giants played in New York, and the Dodgers of L.A. were in Brooklyn. So you have that competition there of local teams. So Bobby Thompson's shot heard around the world, one of the most famous hits of all of baseball, and that was October 3rd, 1951.
Okay, so taking a different turn,
different approach.
October 3rd,
a different slice at things.
1995 was the date that O.J. Simpson was acquitted.
Different slice at things.
Oh dear, yeah. I think maybe I just on purpose moved past it.
Oh,
wow,
that's the first I've ever heard you say, "Oh dear."
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Oh boy. Yeah. So, slice jokes aside, O.J. Simpson was acquitted on October 3rd, 1995, which was obviously a significant conclusion to a complete circus of a trial. My assumption, which I feel pretty good about, is that it was the wrong verdict. And it obviously caused a significant amount of controversy when it was announced.
Yeah, and very significant to have it come up here October 3rd, 1995, as O.J. was just released after 9 years in jail for armed robbery. Was released just after midnight a few nights ago. I think it was Saturday night he was released. Reporters caught up with him, though, at a gas station last night or 2 nights ago, and they caught him at the gas station and asked him what he wanted to do, and he asked if they were stalking him, and he had a nice little giggle about it. But I love that his lawyer said that he's just looking forward to having a normal life, playing lots of golf, and eating lobster and steak. I figured, hey, what man wouldn't want lobster, steak, and to play lots of golf?
Oh, yeah,
he wants to move to Florida, and the governor in Florida said he's not allowed. He's not welcome in the state of Florida.
In the whole state?
Yeah, the whole state. You're not. I mean, you're not welcome in our state. Sorry.
Okay.
So O.J. Was acquitted October 3rd, 1995. I was a junior at Moody Bible Institute, and I remember
was in Carbondale.
I remember walking through the lobby of my dormitory, and I wasn't even by the TV watching. It just had me walking through when it was about to be announced, and I remember stopping and watching the TV, and then they announced it, and then people reacted, and I was like, all right, and then I had to get on off the class. So
yeah, the Bronco chase was on my 19th birthday, I believe, June 17th, 1994.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was I was 19. Good times. So that's that.
Also on this day.
Also on this day, Abraham Lincoln, President Abraham Lincoln in 1863, proclaimed officially Thanksgiving holiday, which, contrary to what some people might think, Thanksgiving is...
Wait, is that Pilgrims and Indians?
Yeah.
And a big old dinner?
And a cornucopia. It was actually something that George Washington had suggested years earlier, but was never made a formal holiday until this day in 1863. Thanksgiving being a day of public thanksgiving and prayer, which is probably something that we all could use a little bit of right now.
So that was October 3rd, 1863. Thank you, Honest Abe. So that was a look back in time, history on this day, and today was October 3rd. For us, for you, you're listening beyond that point, and again, hope you enjoyed National Taco Day, which was October 4th.
I think I'm going to have a taco tomorrow.
Yeah, we have to. It's National Taco Day.
Makes sense.
All right, and we want to end things off each week, try something a little different too, where we are going to ask each other questions. We don't know what the questions are in advance, and again, there's not like trivia questions or see how smart you are. They're
Actually,
just
Matt's I'm going to be giving
Right.
a dissertation.
Yeah. They're just questions. I have a dissertation on cardiovascular disease, and there's going to be a quiz at the end. So we're going to ask rapid fire questions, and this will lead us into something we want to do each week involving you, our listening audience. You can get involved through our Gmail account at afdeshow@gmail.com. You can tweet us. You can get us on Facebook. If there are questions that you want to ask us, we want to incorporate your questions into the show each week. And they could be anything that you want to ask. Whatever they want to be, we will pick some of the best questions and answer
something
those questions.
about the episode, something about we brought up, something new, something funny, whatever.
Anything at all.
You've listened to us. You know what's up.
So here's questions, and these are just dumb questions for you, Jay.
Are we going to go
ready?
through just each list?
I'm going to go through first, and then
No, that's
you
fine.
do.
Yeah. Like alternating. I think
Yeah,
we'll
here
be
we go.
Until next Tuesday.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
When you were little, I don't know this about you. When you were little, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh man, I don't know. Like I'm trying to think of like how when my first thought of you know what, I actually really did like teachers.
You want to be a teacher?
I wanted to be a teacher. Yeah.
I wanted to be the president. When I was 8 years old, I remember that.
I don't think I really had a firm grasp.
What's the best book you've read so far this year?
Best book I've read so far. I really liked that Judd Apatow book I read.
Yeah.
That 600 pager.
Yeah.
But it was really good. I've really like learning about comedians.
I'm currently reading Napoleon Hill's The Law of Success, and I'm really addicted to it. Love reading it. What makes you feel afraid?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of like what's like a legitimate
Besides Pennywise the clown.
fear. Yeah, clowns.
Clowns that live in the sewer and kill children.
Honestly, just I have like I really just the thought of anything happening to my family, like it scares the shit out of me.
Mine's spiders. What's your most embarrassing childhood memory? For Jack is when he pooped on the floor and stepped in it.
Yeah, I'm sure I pooped somewhere. I don't know. I mean, like, who has a childhood memory? Like, maybe someone could say, "Here's something that you did funny when you were a child." Like,
Like on mine, for example, my first year playing Little League baseball in the great community of Berwyn, I had one hit my first year of baseball.
the whole year.
The whole year, and it was the first pitch that I saw the first game of the season. I got a triple, and then it was the only hit, and it was terribly embarrassing. Because my brothers were all really good. They were on like travel teams, and they played competitive.
Well,
and they
yeah,
played each other.
I honestly like the only ones that I would, that are kind of like etched in your brain, I think, are sports. You know, I don't. So I remember basketball. Like I took a shot once, and it went over, over and
the
hit,
backboard.
You know when it hits the thing, like,
Yeah.
like that one. And then definitely in t-ball, I think I like swung, hit the plastic, and like was so like embarrassed that I hit the plastic. The bat came back and hit me in the face,
nice.
hit the helmet.
Yeah.
So sports stuff. I don't have like.
Yeah, I have the baseball one, and then my dad had a buddy had a pet shop, had a grand opening, and there was red and white wine, and then I somehow was able to sneak red and white wine into a glass together and mixed them, and then sat on the curb, and I was like 8 or 9 years old, and drank them without my dad knowing, and then I got violently ill.
Okay.
From drinking wine, yeah. That was also embarrassing moment for my father.
Oh wait,
too.
you know what? Well, I guess just along those lines, Christmas. You know how dads get like shitty cologne?
Yeah.
Yeah, I drank some.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, that was bad. It was.
Tastes like cognac.
I think it was polo, like just regular polo. Can you imagine? Oh yeah, it did not taste like cognac.
All right, who was your first crush?
I think this girl named Megan, like in first grade. Like, yeah, that's really the only time I could think, like the earliest I could think of.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
First grade. If you got a tattoo, what would it be of?
I've been trying to figure that out for a really long time. I
Yeah.
still got nothing. The closest thing to I don't know. Every time I think of something, I think it's super lame. But I love the Chicago skyline.
Yeah.
And so I was just thinking of like just the black version of like the buildings.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I can't. I want it to have some kind of significance, and I got nothing.
What would you like to eat for your last meal?
Philly steak sandwich? No.
From Philly Bros.
Philly Bros. Last meal. I would, whatever it is, I would like my wife and I to make it. Like I love like cooking and like the whole process, and then how good it is like when you sit down to it. So
cook a meal with Trish, then die.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that sounds not good, but yeah, like that's what I want to do.
It sounds not good. If you had to be on a reality TV show, which one would you choose?
Oh,
like this is not an option; you have to do it. What would you be on?
Like one that exists, or can I make one?
One
up?
that exists. Oh, the one about the Bromans time.
God no. What was there was the one where like they went to an island, like
Survivor one or
no, like they
Naked and Afraid?
Basically, no. I'm a celeb. Get me out of here. I think was one. No, there was one like way back where it was just a bunch of people who like went and partied on an island and like I don't know,
like the Bud boat, the Bud Light party boat, but it's an island,
something like that. Yeah, I don't know. None of the. Ugh, I hate all that
What's
stuff.
the one where it's not like they don't always have to be like couple, like husband and wife or boyfriend girlfriend, but the couples that travel around the world and do that stupid scavenger hunt type thing?
Oh, Amazing Race.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
You know, but I
had to do
I just
one.
completely forgot. But American Idol for sure.
Oh,
completely forgot.
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
That's right. That
like
is a
anything
reality
that requires
show.
any kind of talent was a reality show.
Right. What is your dream job?
God, I've done a lot of things. I was in sales for a long time. I've been doing social media marketing for a long time now. Honestly, I would either like to, I think something that you and I have been talking about, like something, a nonprofit actually is where I want to eventually end up.
Okay.
Like that's, the more and more I think about it with how things are going, the more and more I've been leaning towards wanting to do that.
Mine would be TV game show host.
Okay.
That'd be my dream job.
Well, then you can do that, and then it can fund our nonprofit.
Right, and then also host award shows. Like, I'd like to host award shows. I think that'd be great. All right, last question for you. This one's going to get you in trouble if you have the wrong answer. Your best moment of this year so far?
First dance at her wedding. That was awesome. You saw that picture.
Yeah.
Like that's me. Like that's a good look.
Yeah.
That's a good look on my face. So clearly that was my most treasured moment this year.
Well, there you go. All right, that's your rapid fire questions, my friend.
Okay.
Dumb, random thoughts and questions.
All right.
For you. Remember, you want to email questions, you can do so, afdeshow@gmail. You can tweet us, and you can hit us on Facebook, too.
Okay. First question. What is the sexiest and the least sexiest name?
Oh, for anybody?
Just, yeah, whatever comes to mind. Least sexy. Go.
Least sexy. Leroy.
Okay. Most sexy.
Bob.
Okay. Bob and Leroy. All right. So they're a sexy yet unsexy couple of names. Okay. What sport would be the funniest to add mandatory alcohol to?
Oh, that's a good question. Gosh, baseball, someone could get killed. Basketball would be fun. Basketball would be a lot of fun. I was thinking because your depth perception is just destroyed, and then being able to have to run.
What was that video game? The basketball game where like you could run and you could like pull someone's pants. You know, it was like the same company of that football game where you could just like start fighting.
Oh
like,
yeah.
We're like. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I just picture.
I the game that
just
is,
picture. That's another thing we can't remember.
Is right, video games. Yeah, so basketball with booze would be great.
I think so too. That was what I was thinking. What movie would be the funniest as a musical?
Oh gosh,
yeah, so many just popped into my head.
Yeah, gosh, immediately, man. As a musical, well, any one of the Star Wars movies. The Scarface would be a great music. Scarface the musical.
I don't know why this just popped into my head, but Con Air. I just want the mullet wife beat, but it has to be him singing too. Like Nicolas Cage sings
Con Air.
Con Air.
What about what you as the would be the funniest? The gayest would be Top Gun. That's already super gay.
My God.
With Top Gun the musical,
they just do the top or the shirtless volleyball scene and then just bust into song.
Right. All right. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'd like to see Con Air. That's a good one. I'd like to see Con Air the musical.
Yeah. For simple because I've because of that one
Con
segment
Air,
now, I just
musical.
keep thinking of Nicolas Cage movies. Okay.
Oh, the best movie turned musical would definitely be The Bodyguard.
I mean, isn't that really what it is?
Pretty much.
Isn't she? I don't. I've still never. I'm probably not going to see.
You're going to
I'll
have
just
to
take
watch
your
it
word for
eventually. No.
All right. What is something that everyone looks stupid doing?
Sex.
Yeah. I was going to say subtly trying to take out a wedge. Just no matter like the whole the leg shake move, like all that, like you just can't be smooth taking out a wedgie.
Sex where men are involved. That's any man is involved. It's not a fun looking thing.
Okay. I think this one's pretty easy for me, but if animals could talk, which one would be the biggest asshole?
Oh, a cat.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
100%.
Just judgy little fuckers.
Because they are. Cats are like, F you if you're here, F you if you're not. I'm good either way.
I'll go shit in a box.
Right. See ya.
Yeah.
I may cover it, I may not.
Now I'm thinking of the poop jogger.
Mad
Okay.
poop, mad crapper.
Number 6. What is the weirdest thing you have ever seen in someone else's home?
Ooh. Weirdest thing I've ever seen in someone else's home. Man, that's a tough one.
I've seen some weird shit.
Have you?
Well, I mean, it's not like I have a list, but I mean, I just thought of.
What did you think of? Do you think of anything? Because I'm trying to think of
someone
something.
Someone had a miniature skull in like
formaldehyde?
No, like the case you put like a game ball in, or like a baseball card. Yeah, it was it was like a skull though. It was weird.
I don't know. I can't really think of anything weird that I've seen in someone's home. Maybe like a dead grandparent they just leave there.
Like the grandparents in Weird Science.
Yeah.
What did my grandparents do? A catatonic in a closet. All right. Okay. So
rest in peace, right? Isn't he dead? Or is he not dead? He's dead. Isn't he dead?
Yeah, he is.
Right?
Yeah. Pullman? Or no. No.
Paxton.
Oh my God! I just did it. Yeah. It's one of
Pullman's
one of those bills.
Yeah.
Bill,
Pullman was the Independence Day
he's still kicking.
president, right? Wasn't it? Yeah.
Okay. This is great because I don't know the answer, but I know you. Most embarrassing thing you have ever worn in a non-joking way. I could just imagine some of your fashion-forward decisions throughout life.
Wait, read the question again.
What's the most embarrassing thing that you've worn? And you're not kidding. I'm not talking about Halloween. You're not wearing it to be funny. Like you wore it, and now you think about it, and you're like, oh God.
Oh man, well I don't. God, I
bet you wore vests. Were you a vest guy?
I was definitely a vest guy. Also was college days. What was the name of that store I would shop at? Was it Chess King?
Yeah, I did. I had a Chess King suit.
Yeah, man, like the different like the odd colors though.
Chess King and Oak Tree. Remember Oak
Oh
Tree?
yes,
Yeah.
Oak Tree. I shot
I had
Oak
like
Tree
I had a forest green suit.
Forest
that I got
green.
from
There was
Oak
like a
Tree.
mustard yellow. I had like the Joker purple. I mean, I had it all.
I never had a yellow suit.
I did the black dress shirt with the piano keyboard tie, everything. Leather ties.
All right.
Leather tie, like red leather ties. Yeah.
I never had I had a black leather tie.
Real,
Red leather tie.
real skinny though. Back when skinny originally was cool.
I think like, you know what, I did wear because my parents and that's fine that they didn't, but I didn't buy me like any of the real Michael Jackson shit. So I did have like the generic, like the pleather version of like, but not the red one.
Yeah.
The black one that it's basically like a leather members only jacket. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I definitely had a glove. I had a Michael Jackson glove too.
Wow.
I'm not alone. Okay. This was good. If you were arrested with no explanation, what would your family and friends assume you did?
Oh boy. Something to involve alcohol and public indecency.
All right. Yeah. This one's not as jokey, but I actually like it because I'm curious. In one sentence, how would you sum up the internet? That's about it. All right.
Yeah.
So
no,
apparently,
it's-
Mr. Ed.
Because it can be. I'd say it's a useful waste of time.
That's perfect. I think that's perfect. Well done.
Completely what it is.
All right. So I like that question about what's the weirdest thing you've ever seen in someone else's home. I thought this one was funny. What's the weirdest thing a guest has ever done at your home?
Oh.
Other than like, kids shitting on the floor, but their family.
Weirdest thing a guest has ever done at my home. Oh, this doesn't fall into the weird category. I won't mention names, but someone wet the bed, and we're talking adults, like the adult version.
Like at your apartment?
Drinking? No, at my house.
Oh,
drinking and wet the bed. When we'll leave it at that.
all right then. I don't know why I just.
I mean, there's not like.
I think I already just guessed
like
in my
a
head.
kid involved. You'd be like, all right, that's one thing, but it's like, come on.
All right, well that's my 10 questions from Matthew.
All right, there you go. And that does wrap up this week's edition of Abaticola Ferrari Discuss Everything. This is episode 10, Bell Beefer. Remember, you want questions answered. We want to answer your questions next week in that form and fashion. So you can email us, afdeshow@gmail.com. You can tweet at us at AFDE Show, and you can get us on Twitter, on Facebook, facebook.com/AFDE Show, and we'll grab some of the better questions and answer. Remember, anything's on the board. Whatever you want to ask, we will answer. Big thank you for downloading. Please share with your friends, family, and coworkers about the AFDE Show. Keep listening and supporting us. We have a big thanks out to Will's Northwoods Inn in Lakeview, and also our presenting sponsor, Mickey Finn's, Lake County's oldest brew pub. Check them out, 345 North Milwaukee Avenue in Libertyville, at mickeyfins.com as well. He's Ferrari. I'm Abaticola. Be good to each other, and we'll talk to you next week.
Just gonna say yes. Tell people you love them. Have a good week, guys.